you started with a peroration about me not mentioning casualties. That's because I started by mentioning the war. And there is no law of that says you're allowed to start and then complain when you lose it. And if Mehdi cares about, as I'm sure he does, then tell your bosses in Qatar to tell their friends in to stop, give back.
It's honestly like 2 + 2 does not equal 4 to these people. The war started by us. They were asked to give the hostages back and they refused. So they rescue the hostages. But for some reason, no one wants to put any of the blame on the group. It feels like I'm living in a Twilight Zone. It is bonkers to me. It feels like I'm living in upside down reality where you can start a war, assault people, kidnap people, hold them hostage, brutalize people, and you get literally no blame whatsoever. I feel like I'm living in La La Land. It is so crazy to me. Anyway, let's continue.
Gideon says Israel needs nothing more than criticism. As if Israel doesn't get criticism. Wow, he doesn't even read his own country's press. By the way, you said the other day in an interview, Gideon, I couldn't care less about the Jewish state. So we know very well where you're coming from. Let me just say a couple of things about that I didn't get to in my opening remarks, but are important. You know, if you didn't throng the streets of this city or any other for the actual genocide going on in Sudan, not the one that Mehdi and Gideon pretend is happening, but the actual genocide going on in Sudan.
Stopping it there, what's going on in Sudan is horrific. I bet you haven't heard mainstream media talk about it. I bet there's no hashtags going around it, and it's still going on present day. And he said genocide, but guess what the mainstream media is still calling it? A war. Funny how war is called genocide only when Israel is involved, but right now there's literally an ethnic cleansing going on in Sudan and no one's talking about it. All those pro-Hamas people that care so much about the Muslim race, I haven't heard a peep out of them when it comes to the horrific shit that's going on in Sudan right now. But anyway, let's continue.
If you didn't spend weekend after weekend doing that, but you did come out for the post-October the 7th protests, you're an anti-Semite. If like Mehdi once sent a tweet condemning that, it doesn't give you quite enough smoke cover. You know, if you protested not a bit, didn't set up a tent when Bashar al-Assad was killing 6 times the number of people in a decade that Israel and all of its enemies have lost in 75 years of war, you are an anti-Semite. And I would just add one other thing. I know that the media has tried to reframe the motion. I'm not going to allow it either.
I want to stop it there really quick. I also want to add is, if you only seem to care about the devastation of Christian lives, only if you can somehow tie it back to Israel, but you refuse to talk about any present devastation of Christian lives that's going on today in modern times, you are anti-Semite.
You know, maybe there is somebody in the world. Pakistan was invented, created as a state around the same time as Israel. I reckon that if this debate tonight was about Pakistan started a lot of wars, it suffered a lot of wars, it suffered a lot of casualties, caused a lot of casualties. But you know what? If somebody said, I think Pakistan should be abolished. They just don't have the right to a state, and although they had one set up for them many decades ago, we should abolish it. I think people would say, And then if the person said, but, oh, by the way, although I want to abolish that state, I have no problem with the Pakistani people. Please, of course you would.
All right, that was brilliant. I love Douglas Murray. He always is very elegant and articulate in a way of getting his points across, much more than I am. That's why I try to let him talk more. I did interject more in the second half of the video that I wanted to react to. But yeah, I agree with everything he's freaking saying. I'm glad he's out there speaking the truth, and he does it without a lot of hyperbolic emotions. Love that. Let me know what you guys think of what I said, what Douglas Murray said, in a comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the comment section down below, or you can super thanks. And you guys have an amazing, brilliant, beautiful freaking day. Bye.
You started with a peroration about me not mentioning the Palestinian casualties. That's because I started by mentioning the war